Okay, sorry, we got cut off there for a moment. So let me explain what I did to finish up. What I was saying is that you do have point slope formula where all you need is a slope and you need a point. Well, we're given 2 points. Okay, that's nice. So we just had to figure out slope. So that's what I did here. I went through and I figured out my slope, and I just did 8 minus 1 over 2 minus 7, which came out to be negative 7/5. And then I just used this point slope formula to figure out the rest. So I just did y minus y1. Okay, now y1, I happen to use this point. You could have used this point if you wanted to. I just used this one. Okay, equals slope, negative 7/5, okay, times x minus x1, which is 2. And then I went through and I just did the arithmetic. I distributed, so I get negative 7/5 x plus 14/5. And I just added 8. If you add 8 to 14/5, you end up with 54/5, which isn't the nicest looking equation I've ever seen. But that's it. That is the equation between those 2 points. And again, how did I do that? Well, I simply figured out the slope, and then I went through and I used point slope formula. Okay, so let's talk about the second one here that I have. It says, write the equation of a line that goes through the point 6, negative 5, and is perpendicular to this line. Well, what do we know about perpendicular lines? Well, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. So if I could figure out the slope of this equation, then I can figure out the slope of the equation that I want. So let's start with that. Let's figure out the slope of this equation. So first thing I would do is I would subtract 3x to the other side. So I would get, I'm going to put it over here just for space, negative 1/5 y equals negative 3x plus 3. Now to get y all by itself, I'm going to multiply everything by negative 5. So when I do that, negative 5 times negative 1/5 cancels y. And over here, I'm going to get 15x minus 15. Okay, so this slope is 15. So the slope that I want, because I'm talking about a perpendicular line, so I'm going to write perpendicular slope, would be the opposite reciprocal. So opposite meaning if this is 15, then ours will be negative. And since our slope was 15, the reciprocal would be 1/15. So our perpendicular slope is negative 1/15. And then I'm just going to use the point. Okay, so I'm going to use point slope formula to figure out the equation. So I'd write y minus negative 5 equals negative 1/15 x minus 6. So let's clean all this up. So y plus 5 equals negative 1/15 x. Negative 1/15 times negative 6 would be 6/15. So that would be 2/5. I obviously would subtract 5. Sorry, running out of room a little bit here. So let me move it all the way up here. So y equals negative 1/15 x, and then 2/5 minus 5 would be negative 4 3/5. And there you go. There's the equation of your line that goes through this point and is perpendicular to that. Okay, last one that we're going to talk about is this number 3. It says equation of a line that is parallel to the line that goes through these 2 points, and it travels through the origin. Well, what do we know about parallel lines? Well, they have the same slope. Okay, so if our line's parallel to the one that goes through these 2 points, let's figure out the slope, and then that would tell us what our slope is. So I do 7 minus negative 2 over negative 5 minus 4. Well, same change, 9. This one would be negative 9. So my slope is negative 1. Okay, now our slope is negative 1 also, even though they're parallel, so our slopes are the same. So our slope's negative 1. And since our line goes through the origin, that means it goes through the point 0, 0. So again, if I use point slope formula, y minus, I'm going to use 0 equals negative 1 times x minus 0. Well, that's easy. This goes away. And over here, I just get y equals negative x. And there you go. And that's pretty much it for the linear equation review. Hopefully all that made sense. Hopefully a lot of that was exactly what I said, and that was review.